Champagne country lies in the very heart of France, on the historic River Marne. From this limited area of only about 25,000 acres comes the entire world's supply of the famous French wine. A smiling, rolling vineyard country, dotted here and there with quaint towns. Men and women work in the fields together, cultivating, tending, and gathering the grapes, which bring them peace and prosperity. A curious paradox, for the final result of their labors, regardless of its obvious and many virtues, rarely brings peace and never prosperity to the ultimate consumer. Whether it is the work, the weather, or the wine, the natives, as you see, are extremely personable. Harvest time is a happy as well as a busy one. After the ripe grapes are gathered, they are loaded on carts to be taken to the presses. It is difficult to find a more picturesque or lovely scene than the Champagne country in vintage time. The entire population turns out for the harvest, and on every road, high-wheeled carts carry their loads of juicy grapes to the wine presses in nearby towns. The end of the harvest is a festive occasion. The last cartload of grapes is signal for the celebration to begin. At night, bonfires of wine branches are lit. After feasting, and we should imagine from this picture wining, the peasants celebrate far, far into the night. The wine presses are fed their meal of ripe black grapes. The hydraulic jacks begin to work, and the juice gushes forth. The long, careful process of making the sparkling golden wine has begun, a process that has changed little in its essentials since Dom Perignon made his first bottle of champagne in the reign of Louis XIV. The juice is barreled and taken to Reims. Trucks loaded with the precious liquid stream past the famous cathedral to deposit their cargoes in the cellars of the great champagne establishments. These cellars, like the caves where the bottled wine is finally aged, are cut into the chalk deposits which underlie and surround this city. Within their cool depths, fermentation begins. When that is over, the wine is transferred to great vats, and by spring it is ready for its final container, the bottle. It takes 30 million of these each year to preserve the output of the Champagne vineyards, and that's a lot of wine, but not too much for the unquenchable thirst of the world, when the vintage is a good one. Much time and trouble have yet to be taken before the wine is ready to dispel care and trouble from the hearts and minds of men, or even waste its sparkling gaiety on the unresponsive prow of some launching ship. This machine was not available to our friend the Benedictine monk who first produced champagne, but he's credited with being the first to use the cork for closing wine bottles. And now the bottles are carried along endless corridors, 100 feet below the surface, deep into the world-famous caves which literally honeycomb the chalk hills surrounding Reims. These ancient caverns date back to the Roman era. The particular one you are looking at has a capacity of 12 million bottles, and the total length of its galleries is over 20 miles. The bottles remain in the cool, even temperature of the caves for 5 years, and accumulate the honorable trappings of age. At the end of that time, their slumber is disturbed. All the solids in the liquid have settled, and this sediment must be removed. It is shaken and put in solution again. The bottles are placed in racks neck down, so that the sediment will settle at the cork. To assist this, the bottles are twirled while in the racks. The necks of the bottles are then chilled, the corks pulled, and the sediment removed in a frosted lump. All that now remains to be done is to fill up the bottles with clear, seasoned wine, or liqueur if a sweet champagne is wanted. The liqueur is made of fine wine, brandy, and candied sugar. The bottles are then corked and wired. And after receiving their fancy trappings of tin foil and label, are ready at last to carry the gaiety and sunshine of France to every part of the world.